You're listening to Sports Connections with David Smale.
I want to go back to your 1 year at Kansas State. Like a lot of K-State fans, I think you deserve credit for restoring the program. The years before, and I don't want you to disparage, and I'm not going to disparage the coaches who preceded you, but K-State basketball is almost an afterthought. And in your 1 year, you turned the program into a significant program, somebody that had to be reckoned with. And obviously, Frank took it and ran with it. Just talk about your 1 year at K-State and how it rejuvenated your career, because you were off for a year before that year. Just talk about that year.
Well, I think the story that's not been told was I was offered 2 NBA jobs in the year that I was off.
Really?
So, yeah. And I just didn't think that it was the right place at the right time. And I didn't think K-State was until I had the opportunity to talk to Tim Weiser and the opportunity to talk to John Weefald. Then all of a sudden, everything started to fall into place. I loved it there. I mean, I loved it there. I loved the people. I couldn't have worked for any better people than what I worked for. Frank loved it there, and honestly, I mean, we all were, I think, a little guarded.
Yeah.
And I said to Frank, I said to Delonte, of course, Brad already knew, but I said to those guys, I said, wait till you talk to the people. When you talk to the people, you'll realize why I'm excited about this. And the people were fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and continued to be. I can remember doing a Cadbacker thing. I don't know where we were, somewhere, and so I'm talking about we're going to build a program, we're going to win, which all eventually happened. And a guy said, and probably justifiably so, he said, I've heard this before. He said, why would I buy the tickets to continue on with where we are? I said, I'll tell you what, let's do it. I'll buy your tickets. If you're upset, I'll buy your tickets, and then I'll make sure you can't get any the next year. When everybody's trying to get tickets.
Yeah.
And he came up to me afterwards and he said, I'm sold. I'll buy the tickets. So, I mean, we forget sometimes. I mean, we're just people talking to people.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we forget that. But I tell you what, the thing that I have the utmost respect for Coach Snyder, and we were practicing and we got after it pretty good. And Coach and Jim Colbert are standing over in the tunnel. And so I walked over, I said, come on in. I mean, Coach, I'd love to have you anytime you want to come to practice, whatever. And obviously Jim Colbert, and they sit up there and they watch practice. And after, I don't know how long it was or how many practices, but Coach said to me, he said, your group reminds me of the group I brought in, and which was legendary, the Stoops guys and Mangino. And I think there were probably 5 or 6 or maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 that were high major head football coaches that Coach brought into to K-State and on his staff that built the football program at K-State. And he said the same thing about Frank and Brad and Delonte. And look where they are now.
Yeah.
And Coach was 100% right. And I wish I could foresee the future like Coach has.
Yeah.
I admire the guy. I just think he's a special guy that he's a credit to our business, I guess.
And he talks often. I know him really well. I've written several books on his program, but he talks often about the people of Kansas State, the family of Kansas State. And that's really what you're talking about. It's not just the people who buy tickets. It's the people who really invest in your program. Is that correct?
Oh, without a question. Yeah, you couldn't have a better AD than what Tim Weiser was. You certainly couldn't have a better president than what Dr. Weefald was. And Bob Kraus. And I mean, you go right, Casey Scott, you go right through. I mean, they just had quality people in positions and they wanted to help you. It wasn't like, you go down the hallway and they're trying to shut their doors because you go in and, and they know the reason you came down the hallway is you want something. And they were so helpful. They were so accommodating and they cared so much, and I think to me, that's it. I mean, I think when you have a team, players that care, when you have a coaching staff that cares, you're on the right track. You're going to be pretty good.
Thanks for listening to Sports Connections with David Smale. Make sure to subscribe, follow, and rate the show from your favorite podcast platform. You can learn more about David Smale and his work by visiting davidsmalebooks.com. Don't forget to join us weekly for new episodes. Until next time.